Hey, what's up?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
There you go. Perfect.
Okay, cool. Hi.
How you doing? It's Angel, right?
Yes.
Very, very nice to meet you.
Um,
I've
so
done these. I've done these where they're like literally one of them is in Amsterdam. Where are you? Where are you located?
I'm in North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay, got it. Got it. So that's not too late for you. That's not too
No,
late.
it's not too terribly late. I think it's 3 hours ahead of LA.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
So, a little backstory about me. I'm an Army veteran.
Thank you for your service. There you go.
I'm a single parent, and I've been watching Vertical since the end of 2023. I've seen, I think I estimated or roughly counted the other day, I've seen about 2,100 of them.
2,100. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I found them in a hard place, and then I just kind of.
I've actually really noticed that whenever like I interact with obviously fans in my DMs and people are coming from like a point of like you saved me. Like literally they're saying that they were at the bottom of the barrel and these like these short form series just literally pulled them out. And they're just like there's like an emotional attachment to these that's like none other.
Mine was I had just gotten out of a really abusive marriage, and so I
Well,
was like,
you got out. Congratulations. Yeah. It
I
sucks,
needed
but
something for myself since I had just become a single parent, and it's like I need something.
yeah.
I think I saw an ad for one on like Instagram or TikTok, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And now I have over 80 Vertical apps on my phone.
There's so many of them now.
There's
My
so
God.
many.
I know. When I
It's
first started, it was like Real Short, Drama Box, and like a few others. But now, obviously, whenever like a market appears and there's money to be made, all the new entrants come in. It's crazy. I can't believe it. 80. That makes a lot of sense. There's 80 different apps now.
There's probably more, but
And,
I only have 80 on my phone.
I was like, I need to come back and talk to you then. When it's like, all right, who's your top three, top five? Yeah, I need to hear your top 10. That'd be nuts.
Okay, so how did you know that acting was what you wanted to do?
Woo. Um, the story starts out actually when I was a young kid. My mom was an immigrant from Peru, and when she came here, she was so poor. Like, I mean, you talk about typical American dream, nothing to her name, but she couldn't afford like proper English classes, and so she would sit in front of the TV and just learn watching like old classic Hollywood films. So my earliest memories of actually sitting on my mom's lap and watching The Great Escape, the Magnificent Seven. You're talking about like, James Gardner, Steve McQueen, like just classics like John Wayne. Like my mom grew up watching that. And so I grew up watching that. And I always make the joke that the famous scene where Steve McQueen's trying to jump the barbed wire fence in The Great Escape with the BMW motorcycle. That's why I have a scrambler. I literally have a BMW R9T because of that. Like it's I literally personified Steve McQueen with being cool. And when I wanted to get on a motorcycle so quickly, so that's what I did when I was in college. I learned how to ride a bike when I was in New York City attending NYU.
Okay. Your first role was, what was it? OMG, we got married in Vegas?
That was my
No,
second. So I did
Billionaire's Bargain.
That's it, Billionaire's Baby Bargain. That was my numero uno. And that was with the great Daniela, who's phenomenal. She's amazing. And the director, Nani, actually, it was her first time ever doing a vertical as well. She'd only done horizontal. Same thing with me. That was my first vertical ever. And so we're like new on the set and we really like hit the ground running saying she loved me because I was like, all right, let's just break it down. Like give me kind of like the business model of what this new thing is. And I always joke around with friends whenever they're like, what is up with this vertical stuff? And I'm like, just imagine if like Netflix and TikTok had sex and had a baby. That's what that's essentially what Real Short is. And like instantly you get it. It's like, content, streaming, but short form. And then all of a sudden you ingest it vertically. And so yeah, it was a riot that first day whenever you hit the ground running. Because you in the normal world, like it's kind of funny, horizontal versus vertical. In the normal horizontal world where you come from, like 3 pages is like aggressive. Like that's hauling. And then all of a sudden you come into the vertical world and like 10 to 15 pages is the norm. Yeah, you were just burning through scripts. Yeah.
I've heard that. I was like, so I better get ready, but okay. So how did you learn, like, how did you land that first role?
It was just a submission. I remember my reps submitted me. There's like websites and stuff where you have all of your reels and like your headshots and blah 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 and your resumes, and so they submit you. And when they like you, they come back and they say, give us a self tape. So I did a self tape and submitted it, and then they wanted me pretty quickly. So they were like, "We love you. We think you're great. We love the resume." And funny enough, I told the story earlier. I was filming in Manhattan Beach Studios. So I was doing a guest spot on a show and they were filming in the Volume. Do you know what the Volume is?
Mm-hmm.
So it's where they shoot like Mandalorian and Avatar. And so they have like these 10-story LED walls literally that surround you. And then they have the LED ceiling as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like, whenever they have that giant, when I open up the sound stage, when you go in, it's insane. It's almost like out of like a crazy movie itself when you're in the sound stage. They open up the bomb bay doors, you walk up this giant ramp with the other actors and stuff, and then they shut the door behind you. And then they have all the techie nerds in the back corner of the soundstage going, and then they'll can put you on the moon. They can put you in Yosemite National Park. They can put you on Mars in just a second. Like it's insane. And the graphics are just like so real. It's nuts. So I was in there and literally got a notification saying, "Hey, you got it." And I was like, "Okay, now it's time to go report to duty." It was new. It was obviously something that I'd never done before, but I was curious. So I said, "All right, let's go. Let's go like see what it is." And I'm very, very happy that I said yes.
I mean, we are too.
Yeah.
Did you have an expectation when you
I,
went onto your first vertical set?
so back when I said yes to that, it was a while ago. And so it was this, I guess, new marketplace was very, very new. So there's very little, few articles that I could Google and find out what the hell a vertical was. And so like I just got done with my MBA and I went to USC. And like so I was kind of like in my MBA like mindset of always look for who the disruptors are, who are the new players entering into a market, and they're always operating on the fringes. And so the fact that there was hardly anything written about them, but I liked what they were doing, my curiosity got the best of me because I was looking at it through like an MBA lens, and I was just like, I want to see who, because not every disruptor, everyone likes to call themselves a disruptor, and then all of a sudden you go and they 90% of startups fail.
Mm-hmm.
But I was curious enough to go and see these guys, and man, they were cooking with gas. And I realized very, very quickly, like these guys have momentum, and yeah, they are disrupting an industry where everything is going in the red and kind of like going in a toilet bowl. These are the only ones where, like you just said it, there's like over 80 apps and even more. Like the only ones making money. It's nuts.
So your IMDb lists 6 verticals, but I feel like I've seen you in more.
Yeah, those are the only ones that are live. So yeah,
Okay.
there's more that are in the can. So those are coming out soon. In fact, some of the writers were messaging me and they're seeing like final cut of some of the stuff that's in the can still waiting to be released. They're losing their mind. They're like, "It's so beautiful. It's so amazing." Like I was crying again. And I was like, I don't know why, but I got this reputation for like bringing the drama, and people cry a lot at mine. So they'll be happy to know that these next two are like very comedic. There's a lot of laughing that you're gonna have, as well as very emotional moments, obviously, for like the climaxes and stuff. But yeah, they're gonna be a lot more palatable and more enjoyable. Let's say that.
Okay, because I don't know if you've heard, but I'm part of this group on Instagram. We're called the Vertical View Crew.
Oh, cool.
There's like 8 of us.
Oh, nice.
We all just write reviews.
Straight up reviews. Okay.
Well, I mean, I have my weekend watch list segment, and then everyone has their own little segments or like different things that they do, which makes us unique. Someone in the group I was like, "Hey, I'm talking to Richard. Like, what would you like to know?" While I have him on the phone.
While I have him on the phone. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
And someone was like, does he want to do more rom-coms or more coming or?
Definitely more rom-coms are coming. So the last two that really, really brought in the drama. So the last one I did was with Haley, the most amazing, talented Haley Lorelei. And I remember we were on set. We had to be so goofy off like camera because man, in those scenes it got heavy quick. And like man, even the fans when they found out that we were paired together, because obviously we're just doing dumb TikToks and stuff while we're on set. It's not even out yet. but they started going crazy in the comments saying, "Oh my God, it's Richard and Haley! Is like, get the Kleenex ready! Like, we're gonna start bawling our eyes out." And they started coining us as like the dramatic duo. Because
Mm.
anytime you see Haley on a cover or you see me on a cover, everyone just knows it's gonna bring the tear fest is coming. So it was cool to actually have that kind of like reputation that it's like, oh, the drama's going to be hit, like the emotional roller coaster that you're going to get when you put us together. And it really was. It was a fun vertical. But like also, I came from doing the rom com stuff like Billionaire Baby Bargain, OMG, I Got Married in Vegas, like all those different like Resisting Mr. Lloyd. Even they're very light and fun and more romantic driven. And
Mm-hmm.
these last couple of ones that they let me do, they really like gave me the green light to just go full evil, full drama, and like it's fun. I'll admit you get to like kind of loose the bands or the chains of just being like the hero or just the good guy, and then like, I mean, I made the joke on the last interview where I was saying, I was like, the director literally just said, "Richard, you have a green light. Do whatever the hell you want." So I was like, I will do whatever I want. It would be great. So I'm glad people enjoyed it. It was fun. It was so much fun.
With, I know, I don't think I've watched the newest one. Sorry.
Okay.
A lot going on.
It's like, if you want to cry, go ahead. Yeah, that one's a tough one.
Okay. With those ones, or what is it? Mommy Don't Cry, Daddy Sorry.
There you go. Mommy Don't Cry, Daddy Sorry. Yep.
As a parent, how does it affect you, those kinds of roles or like those kinds of scenes, or are you able to like separate that?
I think I'm pretty good at like, being able to separate it and like put the character. I think Liam Neeson said it one time whenever he was saying it's like you can, once you leave the set, you can put your character like on a hanger and put him in the closet, and then you can go home and be normal. And then when you come back to set, you can put that character back on. But it did help a lot that I was a parent because, man, when you get minors on a set, there's limited amount of hours that you're allowed to shoot with them before their handlers, like their studio, they call them the studio teacher, but they're like basically the studio teacher comes on set and he's like, "We're done," and they will literally just pull the kid off set because it's like there's a timer going off every time they enter a hot set, and that timer starts, and when it's done, it's done. And so it was kind of nerve wracking because we don't have one, we got two, and there's a lot of scenes where they're together, and when you have like that running clock, that shot clock almost, so to speak, behind you, if they're not listening, if they're not feeling it, if they're not up to it, like, yeah, like you start feeling it. And so Nani was so super grateful that I could like, all of a sudden click into dad mode, crack some jokes, like pull them aside, gas them up and get them ready, and then, have them ready to party. And sometimes, yeah, things did get a little crazy. I mean, I became the set dad pretty quickly. And so you could see like on my TikTok, they're all like jumping all over me and stuff and like cracking jokes. And I would just like send them on little missions to get me food and stuff. It's just as a joke. It's just to keep things light. Because that poor little girl, oh my God, that fake Ellie, she was having to cry in every scene. And I was like,
She went
oh,
through a lot.
yeah.
I was watching this, I was like, oh my goodness, wait.
Throwing her downstairs, had like bandages, everything. I was like, that poor thing. Yeah.
Is there a specific genre that you haven't filmed yet that you would like to film?
Oh, I would love the horror. I was throwing out ideas and stuff with them, and I was just like, where angles that you can take in the future. And I thought, like, leaning into the horror aspect, I think that would play very, very well with this audience and the demographics that they're reaching. And sci-fi, like, sci-fi would be great. I would love to do that, as well as like an action thriller. I think that would be so much fun.
Because I think Real Short is the one that like dipped its toe into like the horror / thrillers.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that one.
You loved it. See, look, that's what I was saying. I was like, I feel like that would be extremely well resonate with the demographics and the audience that they have. Their customer segments would just like immediately jump on that. I think it's the same demographics that still keep, the traditional business model of theatrical releases alive. I mean, what's going on right now is like weapons, for instance. It's like making hand over fist money because it's a good horror film.
So is there an actor and an actress that you've heard of that you would like to work with that you haven't?
In the vertical space, or like the traditional everywhere?
Vertical space.
In the vertical space? Oh man. Oof. I think I've actually said this a lot. So what's funny is that a lot of them kind of like hang out with each other. And so it's like this little mini sorority amongst the girls, and then like almost like this fraternity with the guys and stuff. And so when we have these red carpet events, we actually finally get to interact with each other. And
Mhm.
so, especially the guys, I mean, if you're a lead, you kind of never really exist on the same set because you're leading your own series. So that's why I love the bro talk so much, because I actually
Mhm.
got to hang out with some of the other guys and actually hang out, and like it was fun. It's like, now imagine if we could do that on set. That would be a blast. I was like, we got to do like an Avengers thing where like we could just bring all the guys together, we could all bro out. But I remember it was the first red carpet event that we had. I got to meet like Meg actually. So she had just came in from like New York City or something, and so I
Mhm.
was like, "Oh, Meg, we got to do one." And then yeah, like I'm like 8 later, and so apparently there's like millions and millions of people on this.
Mhm.
That's someone who I was like, I know. 'Cause I think she's really good friends with Haley. So whenever I was like hanging out with Haley on set and stuff, like we were talking about that, about who we could like go and like pair off with. But so far, I've never been with the same lead actress twice. They always
Mhm.
keep going through with a new one. So we'll
Right.
see. We'll see.
You just keep getting new ones. It's fair. Yeah, I've heard that like the males don't meet as often. Like Noah Fernley and Jackson Tiller, like briefly met on an Instagram live.
On a live.
Yeah, because they were filming Falling for a Superstar 2,
Okay.
and I can't remember any of the female leads right now. But they were on a live, and Noah was in the comments. He was like, "Bring me up," and so they brought him up, and so they're talking to him, and then Jackson just comes in behind, and he's like, "Oh, nice to meet you," and Noah's like, "Nice to meet you." He's like,
That's
"Okay, gotta
hilarious.
go," and then they leave. He's like, "It's the first time I've ever met him." I was like, and it's
I know, like,
crazy.
that's what I'm saying. It's like, because if you're leading your series, you never really interact with the other leads. That's why whenever Real Short throws these like red carpet events, like I
Mhm.
enjoy them because you actually get to interact with everybody. It's fun because like I said, like you're kind of like manning your own series whenever they put you on set.
Mhm. My VVC, my vertical view crew questions. Asked the Aline one, because the Aline one was, more like rom-com ones, like OMG, We Married in Vegas. So
Yep, yep.
Sarah, aka Escapism via Verticals,
Okay.
wants to know
What
if
up,
you were to
Sarah? What
pick a
up?
role,
If I was gonna pick a role,
what would you play? Like any role in the entertainment industry.
oh, I love villains. Like I said, like I was saying earlier, villains are the ones where, yeah, you can really get the green light and you have a very loose leash, so to speak, where like Nani, whenever she let me go and basically do whatever I wanted, that was the kind of stuff that I enjoy. Because I always liken it to like your body, the acting one, with not getting too like, esoteric with it. Like a lot of actors can pontificate a little too much, in my opinion. And so a
Mhm.
quick way of explaining it is like your body is like your instrument. And so, or like a piano. And some lead roles where you play the hero, like the good guy, quote unquote, you can only stay in like a certain amount of keys. Whereas whenever you play the bad guy, oh man, you got like the whole piano at your disposal and you can hit every single key on that thing. Down here, the bass, up here. And like, yeah, you can go a little more crazy. It's way more fun. You get to like play a lot more.
Okay. Um, Megan at Real Real Drama
Megan, what up? How you doing? Thanks for the question.
wants to know, what have you seen change in the industry? Wow,
In
since
the
you
vertical.
started acting in
Oh,
vertical.
um, actually kind of the same thing that I saw, because I've been in the game long enough to see what happened whenever like Netflix first came out. Netflix first came out, they were hustling, they were like the young guy on the block. And whenever I would go and do auditions for Netflix shows, like I said, whenever it was new, people from legacy media would be like, Richard, what are you doing? You're gonna do a Netflix audition? Like you don't want to do that. Like they're literally saying, careful with the brand, don't tarnish it by doing Netflix. And then all of a sudden, look what happened. It took over the world. And so now anybody with those same people would kill to do auditions and be on a Netflix show. Same thing happened when YouTube first came out. They were saying, be careful, don't tarnish the brand, don't put stuff on YouTube. And now look what happened. Like Mr. Beast gets like, full on go multi-gazillion dollars from Amazon to do his own show. And they're actually trying to move more of these YouTube channels onto TV because of that very thing. Same thing happened with verticals.
Mhm.
Verticals, when it first came out, obviously when the disruptor comes in, everyone's like, oh, be careful, don't like, tarnish the brand and do verticals. But I was like, forget you guys. I've seen this before. And then all of a sudden, look what happened. They took off, and the same people that were talking trash before are the ones that are like, yo, can you hook me up with like a gig? And it's like, yeah, if you're not observant and seeing like how it's literally like what the joke is in the entertainment industry. They just want it's the same thing but different. Same thing but different each time. Every time there's iterations and stuff in any like ecosystem or any industry, you'll see cycles. And this was another cycle that I knew they're doing something unique and special, and I want to ride the wave from the beginning. And I'm so happy I did. Like I said, it's cool.
So, out of the roles that you have played, which character do you relate to most?
Relate to?
Yeah, like, I guess I shouldn't say relate to because you
relate to the most. The most fun I ever had, obviously, was the last one that I did with Haley. Like, I was doing such obnoxious stuff that everyone was dying off camera, trying not to laugh. And then whenever they yelled cut, everyone just starts busting up because, like I said, I got to do whatever I wanted, and it was fun. Even like getting in Haley's face and like clapping one time, it was like, oh my god, it was fun. It was fun. When I relate to the most,
like same. Not you wouldn't act the same, obviously, because some of them are evil, but like personality, moral wise.
I think I always go back. I loved like the change of heart that happened with I think I remember his name, Wayne Bradshaw. I think it was the very first one, The Billionaire's Baby Bargain. It's where you're single, you have your eye on the prize, you're trying to become the heir to your father's throne, and he's getting in the way by making you have this baby. So I'm just like, what do you do when you're locked in on like, 100% money, money, money? It's like, yeah, I'll do whatever. Like, just give me a contract wife. I don't care. I'm just like solving the for X, checking the box and getting in. And then there was this change that happens as you go through that arc with the character. But all of a sudden you find someone that makes you feel differently for once, makes you actually fall in love. And I feel like that kind of like resonated with me as a story, with as the arc of the character. And that's why it was part of the reason why I said yes, because I was just like, oh, that's cool to play. That'd be cool to play like that shift that happens. Because a lot of these, I mean, you've seen 2100 of. It's like some of them don't really arc, some of them don't really change. It's kind of like the same beat the whole time. That's why I like whenever some of the scripts that I've been getting lately, especially whenever the last couple that I got, there's a true arc that happens and there's a real catharsis in the 3-act structure. And so like those are the ones where you got like, these roles that have meat on the bone, so to speak. I love those.
I'll come back to that question. Do you watch or have you seen any of your own or anybody else's verticals?
No, only when people send it to me, because I have the feelers out. I'm like, if you guys see an ad, if you guys see anything, like send it to me because I want to see it. And so I've got my feelers out for the TikTok ads, like how I know how much ad spend is happening, Instagram as well. And what's even funnier is that like I know when it's getting really, really crazy is whenever I go in my normal places here in LA and all of a sudden new people are stopping me and they're like they do that awkward, hold on a second. What? Yeah, I was going to a CVS here one time and I was doing a pickup for stuff and like the woman behind the counter just stopped and she looked at me and I was just like, I don't know if she knows because of this, but then she was like, did you do something where like you didn't know which kid was yours? And I was like, yeah, that was Mommy Don't Cry, Daddy Sigh, right? She's like, that's it, that's it. She like starts telling it to her friends behind the counter. And I'm such like a nerd. I'm such like a geek when it comes to data. I was like, how did you find it? And she was like, Facebook. So I was like, the demographics of like, different people of age groups that exist on different social media platforms. Obviously, you can do different ad spend to segment your customers and find new customers, in fact. And that was a new customer. She said she watched an ad where it was a clip from the video and then she clicked it, downloaded the app, and was a new paid subscriber. And I was like, wow, look at that. That's where like ad spend works. It works.
She didn't even hesitate. She was just like all in.
She was all in. Exactly. Immediately. She's like, I just had to know because you didn't know which one was your kid. And I was like, okay. Yeah, that one's crazy. It's gotten like almost 200 million views. That's the one I get recognized for the most. In fact, it got so crazy that Real Short is making like a little video game read along thing with that. And so I actually filmed some promos for that. It's cool. I know that was like a bucket list kind of childhood dream come true where you got to play my character on a video game thing. That was cool. Yeah.
Like one of the, was it characters or?
The chapters game. Chapters. I think like, yeah, this chapters. It was cool to see that.
That's awesome. Do you have any tips for someone who is looking to join or trying to join the vertical industry?
Oh, right now they're actually doing a UGC contest. So it's like if you ever wanted to be in one, I mean, they're literally giving away huge cash prizes and like awards and stuff. Just go out and film something with your friends. Have a story, go out and film it, and you can even submit it. And if they like it, they'll put it on the app. Like, very, very much the same advice that I give anybody who's trying to start and make something in this industry. It's like waiting. There's a famous speech at South by Southwest that the Duplass brothers always like get referenced by, and it's like the quote, you can even Google it, just YouTube it. The cavalry isn't coming. He talked about he's very, very successful in this industry, but you can even go back to the beginning days of everything when you're trying to wait and think that, okay, I'm big enough now, I'm going to start having inbound calls for this, or I'm going to start having people come to me. The cavalry isn't coming. Everything has to be self-generated. And so there's no better time than now because they just opened up the contest where you could submit your own stuff. So get out there and submit it. If you really want it, you can go out and shoot it and then submit it.
Okay. I may attempt to do that because I'm on Actors Access.
Cool.
So I'm trying.
Yeah, those things exist on there too. So you can just go submit your
Oh,
stuff.
I know. I'm submitting to them. I'll get my break one day.
There you go.
Couple funner questions. Not so serious. If you were a drink, what would you be?
Oh man, I would be a Red Bull. So I would go straight up Red Bull on that. Anything energy drink. I remember when I was in Thailand and I was hanging out with everybody. Apparently, the OG, what inspired Red Bull was actually the syrup. And so the guy who created it just like had the idea to carbonate it. And then all of a sudden, the gazillionaire now. But I was just like, oh, this is OG. This is where it was born. And I remember trying the syrup, and I was just like, whoa, I was like ready to party. It was fun.
Just like normal Red Bull or a certain flavor?
Certain flavor? Oh my God, I didn't know there's different flavors. I know Celsius is like the weapon of choice for vertical actors on set. Oh my God. I even did
because of other vertical stars that I've followed. I have a top 20 on my page. And it's kind of like my current top 20 that if anybody asks me a vertical to watch, I usually say one of those, but I also sometimes don't even follow that. And I'm just like, hey, like, what are you looking for? And if they tell me, I'm like, okay, go watch this. It's on this app. But I didn't have any sleep the night before. And I was like, I really need to get this top 20 done. So I haven't done one since I started my page. And I was going to update it monthly.
Yep.
It's really hard to do when you watch so many verticals a month.
I know, 2100. Jesus.
So
you need a lot of Celsius to keep you up. A lot.
I basically I got one and I was like, okay, we're going to try it. And well, now I'm hooked. So
now you're hooked. I know, seriously. Because I remember it was the first time I had one actually was on set. And they literally hand them out like candy. And then all of a sudden, like I was joking about it with somebody. We started calling it like the nectar of the vertical actors. It's just like, so then I made a TikTok about it with Elizabeth for my last one that I shot with her. And I was just like, oh my God, this it never ends. It's so good though. Because you're right. You can flip it around. You can do whatever like flavor you want. Oh God, what's my favorite? It's like this kiwi citrus something or kiwi raspberry. I think it's something like that. That's like one of my favorite ones.
Celsius is? Hold on.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
Look it up. You look it up. Here, actually, I got my iPad right here. Let's look it up.
Kiwi strawberry?
That's it.
Okay. I think I like the Galaxy vibe. I think it's a watermelon strawberry one.
Watermelon strawberry. Oh yeah, that one's good too. Kiwi.
Or is it kiwi guava? There's so many.
That's it. No, it's kiwi guava. That's it. The kiwi guava one's amazing. Yeah, kiwi guava. That's it. I was like, it's not strawberry. That's the one. Kiwi guava. That's my jam. That's the one. If I can find it in like in crafty, I'm just like mine. Yoink, yoink.
Stuffing them in your pockets to take
Yeah,
home.
exactly. I'm like, guys, I'm so sorry. There's none left. Oh, that sucks. They're just like clank, 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 walking away.
So, what is a quote or saying that you live by?
Funny enough, the first thing that came to mind, obviously, that's like the point of the question. Like, what's the first one that comes to mind? One that I get up every morning to. It's ostinato rigore, and it means constant rigor. And I remember hearing that for the first time whenever we were trying to learn Latin. I lived a lot of places, so my dad. I always make the joke. There's military kids that just live everywhere. You know, you guys stationed everywhere. I mean, you would know. And then I always make the joke right underneath them are like oil kids. And so my dad was with oil. He was a geophysicist. He told, oil companies where to drill. So where do you drill? Everywhere in the world. So you move a lot. And so I moved about like 8, 9 times before I graduated high school. It was nuts. But one of the places that we were stationed at was Australia. And there was this, crazy school in Australia where they made you learn Latin. And I remember it was they have all of these private schools whenever they have their like mantras and their like shield and all of their different stuff, and then they always have a Latin saying with it. And I remember he taught us one of those ones, and I love that one. It's like ostinato rigore. It's like constant rigor, and that's kind of like the one of the ways that I get up and you tell yourself the fuel to keep going no matter what.
Okay. And then Aline, she runs I Love Verticals. It's I.love.verticals.
Oh, nice.
She runs Vertalis, which is she created this whole online like Instagram world.
I'm here for it. Seriously, I always say this. I was like, there is no fan quite like a vertical fan. Like there's this ecosystem that is like basically kind of generated, and the network effects are insane. And I even talked about this on my last interview where I was like, I feel like, I mean, you reached out to me. I just said, yeah, let's do it. Throw out your Calendly, and like, boom, I like booked it and stuff like that. And I was like, no other place could you try to interact with like the people that you watch and like fall in love with these characters and these actors and actually have the ability to kind of interact with them. And I'm very, very like, open and like love the fact that the fan base is so active. And I remember I referenced this when I did the podcast for Real Short, that when we were having the fires down here in LA, and it got pretty crazy with Altadena, Pacific Palisades, they're still dealing with the aftermath of it. But when you're in the thick of it, it was pretty scary. And I had people reaching out from South America, from like Europe, from like Eastern Europe and stuff like that. And all of them were literally asking me, naming my kids by name. They're like, is Maverick okay? Is Cozy okay? Like, how are you? And I'm like, that's unique and special. And I actually really, really do love the fact that the vertical fan base are so sweet and earnest and like actually very, very, they're unique. It's a unique like circle of friends that you almost like get to have online.
But she has Vertalis, right? Just a world that she created.
Oh, I don't know that. That's crazy.
Vertical stars.
I gotta check this out.
I'll try and remember, and I'll send you a link to her page.
Cool. Done. I'll check it out.
Why can't I think of it? But she like basically takes actors. So she did one for like Cayman, right? Cayman Cardiff. And she turns them into Pokemon styled evolutions.
Oh, that's funny.
I really want to find it. Hold on. Vertalis. I'm just gonna look up Aline. Visit Vertalis. So it's called the Vertidex.
The Vertidex.
Oh no, it's called Visit Vertalis. Visit dot and then Vert ALIS.
It's got like that instant Polaroid camera.
Yeah.
Got it.
But they're like Pokemon styled evolutions of this actor.
I love it. That's so cool. See, this is the kind of stuff that I love. It's like you'll find these little like unique ways of displaying their love for verticals, and it just comes out in these cute little things. Yeah, there was one that I did where she sent me like a list of stuff, and then she would make like an AI version of you for each slide, and I thought that was so cool.
But she's got like locations. She's got the platforms instead of platforms. She even created merch.
Oh my god! I know, that's what I'm saying. It's a whole other level. Whole other level.
But I love my vertical review group. We're all like, we all have our own unique ways of reviewing, which is really interesting. let's see. It's me, Dahlia, Vertical Films lover. Aline, I love verticals. Liz, which is Portrait Story Diaries. Hero, which is Vertical_fan. Katya is Short Reel Critic. You have Megan, Real Drama, our admin. Sarah, Escapism via Verticals, and then this Vertical Slaps. I love it. It's one of my favorite things, and I'm gonna go back to questions before I just ramble about.
No, I think it's exactly what we were talking about. It's like this. It's the same way that there's like almost this like sorority that happens amongst the lead girls, and then a fraternity amongst the lead guys. There's almost like a sorority amongst like the fan base as well, and like everyone does their little cute thing and they interact with each other. Like you just named a ton that are like in your circle now. Like that's so cool.
I started my page in April because I was working night shift as a security guard.
Yep.
I was reading Vertical Drama Queens, and I was like, man, I should just do this and get my opinions out there. So I created a page.
Yeah.
I'm like 2 or 3 weeks into this page, and I was like, I want to do weekend watch list. Lisa helped me figure out names and everything. Launched that.
I love that because, like, you know, who else can say that they are like ingest the amount? Of, like, I've never heard anyone drop a number like 2,100. So it's like, I think if anyone is the domain expert, it would definitely be you. So you should be writing these. Yeah.
I think I've seen most of the stuff on Real Short. I think there are a couple that I haven't seen yet, and it's like the newest releases. Most of Drama Box, most of Dreamy Short, Net Short, Surreal, Candy Jar, Shorts, My Drama, Viglu, Drama Pops, Short Max.
Jeez, yeah. I'm one of the few guys actually that hasn't jumped yet. So like I've been with Real Short since the very beginning. I'm an OG, and like I've only done Real Shorts, and so it's been great. They treat me awesome. I love it here, and so there's no reason for me to leave. But yeah, it's been a fun ride.
If I'm going to start like watching everything, if I put you on the list to where I will watch everything that you put out.
Love it. I'm so honored. Thank you. I love it. Like, you watched it and you're like, I got to watch everything now. So that's good.
Have to start with the first one. So we watched like 3 episodes of that one. I was like, no, I got to start with the first one. So I went back and I started with the first one.
Yep.
And then that's what any new person that I find, that's what I will do. Is if I find them in an ad, like Ryan Vincent.
Okay.
I found him in an ad and I was like, okay, I like what he's doing. I got to go watch the first one.
This is great. I love this kind of intel. Like this is how the customers like, you know, operate in the space. So it's like, yes, if they're hooked on somebody from an ad, they'll go back and rewatch all of it. Love it.
Because to me, it's your first work is the most raw version of you.
Yep.
So you can get, not saying people do, but you can get molded or, you know, formed into a person that you, or a way that you weren't at first.
Yep.
But that first like vertical or film is your most pure acting, trying to learn self. And if I like you then, I'm gonna like you for the rest of them.
Yeah, because I mean, this space is so unique where it's like every actor's dream is to have constant work. Because like in the old legacy model and stuff like that, you could like, you know, get a gig and then you won't even get one for like months, if not years even. Like some of my friends are still struggling with that. But it's like in this one, if you do a good job and the numbers show for it, when you're the lead and you put your face on that cover and on that thumbnail, and all of a sudden the numbers justify it, you get steady work, and it's great. It's like it's an awesome thing, to where all of a sudden you get to put on, like I said, that wardrobe and that the different characters and put it on. It's been great. It's been fun.
So, Aline, right? I love Vertical, aka Vertalis.
Vertalis, what up, Vertalis?
It's so great. They're all so talented. Like this Vertical Slaps, they rate it on like a slapping scale of 1 through 5.
5 slaps. All right.
She wants to know, what does it feel like to be married to a Disney princess?
I know, it's crazy. It's really, really funny because whenever we watch, so my daughter actually fell in love with Sleeping Beauty, like the actual cartoon, and she would put it up and watch it all the time. And that wasn't even with any coaxing from my wife. In fact, she kind of went the other direction of like making sure to be extremely hands off and not guide anything. But naturally, Cosette fell in love with Sleeping Beauty, which is what my wife is. When you watch Sleeping Beauty and you have my wife sitting on the couch like watching herself on screen, it's uncanny how much she looks like her. It's literally like Sleeping Beauty and Briar Rose, like, danced off the screen and all of a sudden is in my house. Like it's the craziest thing ever. And I remember when I first met her at Disney World. I feel like I'm pretty good at, like, joking around, having a fun time. I got the riz, so to speak, whenever we were dating and stuff. But man, when I first saw her, I was like speechless because I was like, whoa, like the character came to life. It was nuts. So I still get speechless sometimes by like how uncanny she looks, just like the cartoon. So you're gonna have a lot of speechless moments whenever you're married to a Disney princess. And of course, when that goes out, what's even funnier? Just the same way that we were talking about with like these little mini fraternities and sororities that are unique. The Disney princesses, they all have their own secret Facebook groups and stuff like that where they all talk to each other. So it's like this unique, very, very cool VIP sorority that the princesses all talk to each other, which always cracks me up. I think it's hilarious.
I haven't been on TikTok since I started my Instagram page, basically. Just
You're working. Yeah.
Yeah. And I opened it a couple weeks ago, and it was literally just Haley's video, I think. And like you walked up behind her and tightened her drink, and
Yeah, exactly.
it was
Oh, you
like,
think you're not going to talk to me? I was like, I tightened it too much. Yeah. That was the kind of goofy stuff that we would always do. That's why I said, it's like, if you give us a comedy, kill. It'd be great.
do you have any questions for me as a consumer or a vertical reviewer?
I loved because you were giving me the intel that I always ask for. It's like, how did you become hooked, and how did you enter this world of verticals? And it was as simple as you've watched an ad that hooked you, you click on it, and then all of a sudden you went down the rabbit hole. And I think that that's like, ideally for anyone who owns a company, especially in like, the streaming world, like you are the ideal customer. You see it, you're hooked, and then you dive headfirst right into the deep end. And I think it's something that if the vertical world, if they take care of their audience, listen to them, and give them what they ask for, there is the ability to have this connection with their customer base and this connection with their audience that legacy is basically forgotten about, which sucks to admit, but it's true. I remember, like, Bob Iger, whenever they're on the earnings calls, whenever they do all the different Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 results and stuff, when they talk to Wall Street, I think, like, the most he'll ever admit it, the way that Iger loves to, like, twist stuff. He'll say, he's like, I feel like we got lost trying to educate our audience instead of just trying to entertain them. And I think that, that very much sums up what legacy media has gotten wrong, is that what anybody does, especially whenever you run a business, the moment that you're not obsessed with your customers and obsessed with what they want or what they need, they will leave you to go somewhere else. And I think they have this unique opportunity now where they're giving this audience that just falls in love with it exactly what they want. Don't get too crazy and start, changing it up too fast. It's like, you got to listen, iterate. Obviously, everyone has to evolve, but I think it's something very, very unique, and you have a culture around it that if you water that garden, man, it's going to give you a beautiful botanical garden.
To basically to expand on how I got into it, now that we're past all my important questions for you.
Yep.
It was, I downloaded the app. I don't even ask me which app right now because too many verticals. I had watched a few episodes and then I'd hit that paywall. I was like, oh, okay. And I was on the fence about it. So I went back to Instagram, and then I saw it was a Casey vertical, and then I saw an ad for an Eric vertical. And it shocked me because I have followed Eric on TikTok and Instagram for longer than verticals.
Okay.
His poetry helped me a lot. Actually, one of his next lists is on. Anyways, so I started watching that one. again, I hit that paywall and I was like, okay. And I hit subscribe, and then I finished those two, and I was like, okay, if this is what these two people that I don't even know, right, can do, because I think one of them was a CEO one, and one of them was a werewolf one. I was like, okay. And so I just started watching whatever cover looked appealing.
Got it.
At first. And now it's more of like if they're on my list of people that I watch, I'll watch their verticals. If not, it's ads. And if the ad looks super interesting, I follow the rabbit hole and I go find that vertical and I watch it all the way through. And I write a review while I'm doing it. But that's where I came in, and then I started finding more apps. Because I started with, I want to say it was Drama Box and Real Short were the first two. And then I just kind of went down the app hole.
Yeah, there's definitely plenty to get you. I know, it's nuts. That's so cool though. I love like hearing the stories about how it all started, because I feel like, it's unique to every single person. And it's like it sucks that you said that you found it like a bad time in your life, but then also I guess it was a blessing in disguise too, where it's like almost it felt like it brought you out of it. So that's good. I'm glad it like served a purpose higher than just like, mere entertainment. Like it almost like, got to be this thing that you could go retreat to, and it gave you solace. So that's awesome.
Because I found them and I was like, okay, it's my escape to kind of just it's my me time.
Yeah.
And then as I like watched more and started to, I guess, fall in love with them more, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this is no longer a me time thing. This is anytime I have free time. Like I was at work as a security guard.
Yep.
And like I worked midnight to 8 a.m. So if nothing happened, I was just sitting there.
I know, it's great.
What better to do than to watch verticals?
I know, you can watch your verticals. That's awesome.
I even introduced my sister to them. I kind of introduced my sister. My sister found an ad for one on Drama Box, and she like knew that I watched them. So she came to me and she was like, "I'm gonna watch this one." There was no name. There was no ad. There was no like app title. Shoot this one, and I was like, I'm supposed to know off of a picture.
Right. Sometimes that's all you need. Go do it.
Now I have a list of like 30 verticals on my phone that she just keeps sending me that she wants to watch.
Hilarious. Tell her she just watched. So she watched any of mine, or no?
I don't think any Real Short ones have popped up on her ads yet.
Oh, wow, Real Shorts. Okay. Yeah, get her on that. Get her started down the rabbit hole of Real Shorts.
Oh no. She'll be on there a while.
I know. That one never ends.
But do you have any other questions for me as a viewer or reviewer?
No, I think no, this was great. Seriously, thank you. I think I gotta wind up because I got another call jumping on soon. But seriously, this has been amazing. I think like I said, I always love interacting with people in this space because I feel like everyone's just so genuine and nice and like really, really cool. And so thank you for this. This has been fun.
Thank you for agreeing. I had a little fun. I was very surprised when I looked and it said booked. It was like, I just sent it to him.
I know, exactly, because you got me in a unique time. Like, the kids and the wife, they're actually out of town right now. So I was just like, all right, I got free time. Boom, 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 boom. Like I said, I'm doing a ton of these. I'm racking them all up. So you caught me at a good time. Yeah, like the planets aligned. So this is perfect.
That's great. But have a good next call. And
I will. All right. You're amazing.
All right.
See ya. Bye.